channel. It's your spook sister, Renee or Nene. I should really pick a name by now. Now guys, I was really trying to think what to do for this kind of video for today. And I decided that I was actually going to do a paranormal story time of my own. And the reason why I decided to do it basically, I have been thinking about it, but there was this this little book that I dragged out of my book collection, and I don't know what this was. I think this was like my diary back when I was like in grade 3, which would make me how old? I don't know, 8 or 9, something like that. I can't remember. But I was looking through this book and I found a couple little things in here. One particular thing that just kind of brought all these memories back for me, and I decided that it's about time that I shared this with you guys. So, if you're new to my channel, hi, my name is Nay, great to have you around. And for the 31 days of October, I am going to be talking about everything spooky and paranormal. So if that sounds like something that you would be interested in, then please stick around. And if you want to see some more videos, hit that like and subscribe button down below, and let's get into the video. Okay, so I was trying to think where to begin for this, because there is a little bit of a story behind what led up to this event, I believe, because I did think back on past behaviors and things that I'd done, that I had done as a child, that could have pretty much opened me up to the experience that I'm about to share with you. So when I was in about grade 3 or 4, I started getting very interested in witchcraft. I pretty much begged my mum to go to the bookstore, and I just wanted to get like a little spell book. I just wanted to dabble with the witchy kind of thing, and I heard that being a witch you could cast love spells. And basically there was this little fat boy in my grade. Yes, I was a chubby chaser. Basically, I was way too shy to tell this boy that I actually had something for him. Like, I really had something for him. And this is why this book reminded me, because I'll show you something really funny. So, you know when you're kids and you write down, like, I love such and such, or such and such loves who, such and such loves who. So my friend Danica, if I can find it, she wrote this. Hopefully you can see this on the camera. And these were all the little boys in my grade who basically I had crushes on, because obviously, when you're in that age, you pretty much like everybody. Well, at least that was what was true for me. And there was this little boy down here which reminded me. His name was, we'll call him Sways. Okay, so Sways was my dream boy. He was just so cute and tubby and just big, and I think the reason why I like little fat boys is because they were huge, and I felt small compared to them, and I kind of liked that whole dynamic with the big man and the tiny woman. I don't know, you guys, I was small, I was tiny. What can I say? Long story short, I was trying to perform some different types of spells, and I'll just inject this one story. I know this is supposed to be a spooky thing. I will get to that in a second, but I have to tell you something that happened to me that was really embarrassing. So there was this love spell in the book, and it asked for a lock of your lover's hair. I asked some of his friends to go ahead and cut off a bit of his hair, and that didn't go too well. And I got called into the principal's office because basically everyone was telling the teachers that I was trying to cut off Sways' hair for a spell. Anyway, moving on, getting back into the actual story. So during this time, I was really interested in everything that was kind of magical and, you know, the occult. I was collecting candles, I was doing mantras, chants, you name it, all that kind of stuff. And, you know, during this time, we lived in this place called Westcourt, which is in Cairns in Queensland. And where I happened to live in Westcourt was a really kind of dodgy area. We lived across from a park, and this park at night you would often hear screams and violent arguments and, you know, just some really weird shit, you guys, just some really wacky stuff. And, you know, it wasn't uncommon. We'd have to call the police all the time, and, you know, that was scary. You know, being a kid hearing screams in the middle of the night, plus, you know, hearing Kulu birds. If you don't know what Kulu bird is, I'm gonna put a soundtrack in this video just so you can hear it. And if you can imagine being a little kid in the middle of the night, hearing one of these birds, it sounds like, it literally sounds like a woman is screaming or a woman crying. So I'm gonna put that in right now. Would tell me that basically this was in Aboriginal culture, the Kulu bird was the devil bird, right? And it wasn't abnormal to see these birds right outside my window, and I would look outside the window and I would see this fucking bird, and its eyes were like red and screaming, and it and I had a very active imagination. As a kid, I was one of those children who would often see shadow people. So I was terrified of the dark. I would always leave my door open with the toilet light on because I couldn't stand being in there alone. I would always see these shadows in the corner of my bedroom moving in like weird ways and, you know, just spooking me out basically all the time. And it wasn't, you know, it wasn't uncommon for me just to go up to my parents' room and go sleep with them or go sleep on the floor because I was peeing myself all the time. So leading up to this night, I remember it quite distinctly what actually happened because there was a few really strange events. I was getting a lot of nightmares. I mean, like full-on night terrors. I was pretty much dreaming all these really horrific things, like being chased by zombies, being eaten by monsters, and in these dreams I would get stuck. Like, I literally knew I was dreaming, but I couldn't escape the dreams. I was in them and I was running for my life, trying not to get eaten alive. Then, this one particular night, I will never forget, I had this dream and these monsters or demons or whatever it was were trying to eat me. And in my dream, I was saying, wake up, Renee, wake up, wake up, wake up, Renee, wake up. I was just trying to get myself awake. And eventually I finally opened my eyes. But the problem is that the dream was still happening in front of my eyes. The monsters were still there, and they were in my face, and I was so frightened. I got up, I shot out of bed, I started walking towards my parents' room. I couldn't see anything. I was literally banging into walls because all I could see was this nightmare happening in front of my face. Then once I got to my parents' bedroom, it sort of started to slowly like dissipate and I could finally see again. I asked my parents if I could sleep in their bedroom because I was just, oh God, I can actually remember the fear. I was just so scared, you guys. I couldn't be alone. Fast forward, my parents have given me a mattress, put me on the ground, and we've gone to sleep. I woke up somewhere in the middle of the night, and I looked into the corner of the bedroom, of my parents' bedroom, and in the corner, I started to see one of these shadows forming. Now, typically, guys, when I would see a shadow, my parents always told me that, oh, it's fine, you're just hallucinating, you're just a child, you have a very active imagination, and, there's nothing to worry about. So I would always tell myself, like, it's okay, I'm just hallucinating, it's nothing, it doesn't mean anything. And usually I would always tell myself this, it would help calm me down, and then the shadows would slowly but surely dissipate. The weird thing about this particular shadow was that it grew and it grew and it grew, and it got larger and larger and larger until it actually had a fully distinct head and shoulders. So if you could imagine a black cloak, no face, no distinct features, head, shoulders, legs, and that is it. The weird thing about it as well was that, if you can imagine, this was my parents' bed, this was my bed. And then in the corner of the bedroom, the shadow started to very, very slowly walk behind my parents' bed. It moved out of the shadows into the moonlight, and I was awake, you guys. I was wide awake. There was no way in hell that I was asleep or half asleep. I was completely dead awake, watching this thing creep slowly behind my parents' bed until it reached the end of mine. And I was just laying in my bed, sheets over my face, and I was just shaking and watching this shadow hovering over my bed, watching me. And all of a sudden, it just started to fall on top of me. And I went under the covers and I just hid, because I didn't know what to do, and I was shaking like crazy for at least something for like, I don't know, I felt like forever, 10 minutes maybe. And then once I was brave enough, I finally took the covers off my face and he was gone. Guys, I completely blocked this out of my memory because it was so utterly terrifying. I have never been as terrified as I had been in that moment in my entire life. And I think it's only up until very recently, when I've had a few different things happening now that I'm more older, that I realized, like, hey, that was weird. And there you have it, you guys. That was probably one of the scariest times in my entire life, and I hope you enjoyed that story. I do enjoy telling people about it because it really reaffirms to me that there is so much more than what the eyes can see. There's so much more, and I'm not ungrateful for seeing these things. I actually want to tap back into it again because I feel like it's something that was a gift that I rejected, and who knows? Maybe it's because I'm older now that I don't get to see these things, but at least in my mind, it helps me to really reaffirm that there is more than what we know in our own reality. There is so much more to the fabric of the space-time that we live in, and hopefully that can help open your eyes to seeing more, to being more open, to experiencing life more, and also just being more present, being in that moment, understanding what's happening around you at all times, because we are just so closed off nowadays in our society. We're always on our phones, we're always looking at something on the internet or just distracting ourselves from what's happening around us. And if you really tend to open your eyes, guys, you will see reality for what it really is. And there you have it. We are done. I hope you really enjoyed that, guys. I really enjoyed telling it. And if you do want to see some more paranormal story times or haunted locations, which will be coming up hopefully in the next couple weeks, please hit that like and subscribe button down below. And until next time,